Hello, disabled soapboxers. I have my new camera and it is epic. Wow, my beard's getting long. Anyway, uh, disabled life is crazy as ever. I am going to show you something that is a wee bit disconcerting. A little bit more than wee bit, but I'm just going to say wee bit to. Uh, I'm just going to, but I'm going to attempt to share my screen so that I can share a video so that I can show you something. This is what we're up against, and it's got to stop. And all right, hold on. There. Now, if I go. Ah, there it is. Holy crap, it worked.
Trump was just talking about flag burning at the White House, saying how he made it a crime punishable by up to 1 year in prison, and then goes, quote, "We took the freedom of speech away," referring to the fact that the United States Supreme Court has on at least one occasion before said that flag burning is protected First Amendment speech. And while Donald Trump is claiming that it's no longer that because he, quote, "took the freedom of speech away." That's a real quote from the President of the United States today. Now, obviously, his executive order did not make flag burning a crime. Only Congress can do that. He cannot do that through the executive. And it is clear that he is testing the bounds of the First Amendment right now. He wants to actively take away the freedom of speech. He just said, quote, "We took the freedom of speech away." But here's the thing, he didn't. You can burn the American flag without penalty in the United States because it's constitutionally protected speech. Spread the word. This is serious. Subscribe to my Substack, link in bio. Follow along for all the news you need to know about. We have some major news right now. Donald Trump was just talking about flag burning at the White House, saying how he made it a crime punishable by up to 1 year in prison, and then goes, quote, "We took the freedom of speech away," referring to the fact that the United States Supreme Court has on.
All right. So let's just let that sink in for a second. So this tyrant, that's what he is, or he wants to be. Well, he is a tyrant just because of the stupid, idiotic things that he's doing now that everybody thinks is a great idea, but I'm getting a kick out of those farmers right now. Way to go, you soybean guys. You voted smart. Nice work. Yeah, you're regretting your life choices now. FAFO. I have zero sympathy for you. You've been warned. You were warned. You were warned on more than one occasion. And now we're here. You were warned. We said this guy was a bad idea. You were warned. And you didn't listen. And now you're freaked out. And now we get to say, we told you so. So, we told you so. I didn't want the guy. There's a lot of people that I have in my life that didn't want the guy. He's coming after everybody's rights. He's gutted the ADA, which is the Americans with Disabilities Act. And for you guys that are out there that are, that's the way it is. You know, cutbacks. Okay, fine. To quote one of the funnier comedians I've seen in a while, Josh Blue, "You are one bike ride away, you able-bodied goober. One bike ride away. One bike ride away from being in our demographic. Then I'll have to share my handicap parking sticker with, or handicap parking spots, or good parking, or concert seats, or whatever, with another able-bodied goober, or somebody that was an able-bodied, but they're not anymore because they were a goober and they might have done something that wasn't intelligent, like some of those able-bodied folks out there are doing now. You guys are the ones that got us in this mess. We didn't. I'm just an American trying to survive, and I'm up for everybody trying to get a fair shot. To you able-bodied guys out there that are life is what it is, you're one bike ride away. And I hope I'm not there when it happens, just because that kind of stuff is icky to watch. But you are one bike ride away. I want you to remember that. Just take one event where you've lost a limb, can't see, can't walk, can't feel anything. I mean, there are a whole bunch of permanent disabilities out there that suck. And you're one incident away. So just remember that. I mean, with the rolling back the ADA job market's absolute bear to try to get through now. I mean, it's been a bear for a disabled person for a long time, but now it's just getting worse. And you able-bodied folks are just like, oh, that's the way it is. I'm gonna remember you said that. And to you soybean farmers that they're working on a bailout for you, or you've gotten one, or I'm not sure what the doohickey is there. Why do you deserve a bailout? We warned you. So you don't deserve a redo for your idiotic mistake that you were warned about. Just like somebody going too fast and they're in a car crash. That's what speed limits are for. Well, we were flashing a warning sign for a long time and you just kept going. The stop sign was there. The crossing arms were down. And you just kept going. You know what you got hit by? You got hit by the Trump train. Nice work, Gooberhead. And when you have to sell off your farm stuff, and you have to sell off your farm to the bank, and they got to sell your stuff for at a price where you can't even try to buy it back, I hope some out of towner just rolls through there, buys up all your stuff, and you don't even have a shot. Because I'm done playing nice. I've been that guy with a disability that just didn't like making waves, didn't like making trouble, only really had to, or only really swung when I really had to. Like one of the times with one of the employers that I had, where they had me in a physical position to where I couldn't clock in on time because I wasn't fast enough. And I went straight to HR and I told my HR at the time that my boss is trying to fire me. Here's the problem. Now, it might have been a little excessive on my part, but I needed to make my point instantly. And that was, it got fixed. And I don't think my supervisor at the time was very happy about it because it kind of made her look a little rough for a while. But I got moved to a different team. So that was okay. You know what? Let's just talk about my work history for a while. Just because we're there. So my first gig was a non-paying gig for a volunteer fire department because I just needed to build my resume because the hometown that I grew up in, there was no shot where when I was in high school, I could get signed on for a part-time job. It just wasn't going to happen. I mean, it would have been great if I'd have worked at Subway part-time because having a discounted sandwich would have been great. But just it wasn't going to happen. So after I graduated high school, I was a little bit out, and then I got approached by a volunteer fire department, and they wanted me to take over the data processing duties, and I did that until 2015. And I had to stop because I had graduated college, gotten a job, and was getting ready to move. And then my first paying gig was a part-time cashier. Now, this employer lied to my face. They said I didn't have to be fast. And they said I didn't have to be fast, but they put me in the express lane. And then this employer decided on an 88th day of my 90-day probation that they were going to, or they'd made the decision that things weren't going to work out, which happens quite a bit with that organization. Then I started at a customer service representative for a credit card company. Yeah, I did that for a year, but they were getting bought out by another organization, and it felt like the Titanic. So I jumped ship to another customer service organization that was connected to Home Advisor. That's the safest way I can say it without giving away where I was, because there's so many snowflakes out there that can't actually handle criticism of them not being fair and doing the right thing. But that second paid employer also lied through their teeth, because I asked them the direct question the day of my interview when I started out at the position that I liked, when I was off the phone and not getting yelled at, if speed was an issue at this organization. That organization lied to my face. Let that sink in for a second. And the way that I know they lied to my face is my last day there. Well, besides, that's what actually happened. But anyway, fast forward, after I got pushed out of the position that I liked, I got pushed into another customer service job. Now, I don't care who you are. Customer service jobs over the phone, they're tough, because the customer, as a noun, they expect the world and they're not connected to reality. I'll get into that later down the road with some other interactions that I've had, but specifically with this customer service position, was the customer would be thinking that they were speaking to some kind of contractor. Well, they were speaking to me, the third party, and I had to check and see if that contractor was even available. And then they'd get mad because they couldn't get connected to the person, and they'd hang up. That was a numbers-driven setup. And then when I got iced from that job on December 7th of 2017, yep, that was it, I think, because the day I got fired, that's kind of a funny thing, I ran up to my boss kind of like a 6-year-old and went, "Hey, do I still have a job today?" You know, like a 6-year-old excited for kindergarten. And they froze. It's like, "Well, we're going to talk about your scorecard." You didn't answer my question. Do I still have a job today? And he said, "Are we really doing this right now?" I said, "I'm not going to waste your time. You're not going to waste mine." And then we had the meeting where I was going to get iced. But for some odd reason, this guy's boss wanted to talk to me, because he was the guy that I spoke with on one of the multiple occasions when I was given bad information to this employer. And when I brought up the speed question that I'd asked him previously, that able-bodied goober had the guts enough, I almost slipped up there, don't want to get in trouble with YouTube, to say that he misunderstood my speed question. Needless to say, my teeth was on edge. I didn't physically go out, but I was just like, this guy's full of it. And so then I had to go back to I had to swallow my pride, because any job's a job to a certain extent, but you got to find one that works for you, where they're going to be willing to not totally burn you. And I swallowed my pride, and I had to go back to the credit card job that I had previously. Then that went on for 6.5 years, and they started moving the goalpost. So It was a metrics driven job that I was really good at. I could hit the numbers, there weren't any problems. And then they started to put some idiotic rules in there because they wanted to cut staff and they didn't want to have to pay any sort of severance or unemployment. But the funny thing is, on the unemployment, they lost. So it went from they only wanted you to take 15 seconds between credit card customer service calls, no matter how the previous call went. You had to go 15 seconds. And then they didn't matter the circumstances, or if the customer hung up too soon, that was on you. They wanted you to get this specific line of thank you for calling blank, 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 blank. I can't say the whole thing because there's too many snowflakes out there that can't handle any criticism about how the employer was. If you have any questions about what it was, go search your wallet. See if that'll help. Then I had a awesome job that I was an office manager that was within walking distance of where we were previously living. And then that employer just decided to end the contract with the employment agency. Then I went with another one, and then I got laid off from work there for lack of call volume or lack of work. So I got my job done, but it was great as a customer service agent when you're working on the phone and you've got 5, 7, 10 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes between calls. That's a good way to keep your blood pressure down because you're like, I'm not getting screamed at. This is great. And then I get iced because of lack of call volume. And there was somebody that should have been let go before I was because they did the one thing that you're not supposed to do. Hang up on a customer without any justification. But I was the one that lost my job. And when I called them out on said situation where a representative disconnected from a customer without authorization, they said, we're working on it so they don't do it again. So, in my humble opinion, off of my past work experience, or my life experience, we'll go that way. The only reason that I got iced was because of my disability. And the person that wanted to keep on was able-bodied. And then here we go, and I've been carpet bombing applications like mad. And there's not even a spot where you can mark disabled anymore. So then when that happens, you get to walk into an interview and go, surprise! And then they get to make that decision as soon as they see you that you're not qualified because they can get away with that now. That ain't right. And all you able-bodied goobers out there and I say goobers because I don't want to get popped for cussing, but to all you able-bodied goobers out there that are saying nobody wants to work, yeah, we do. We just need a little bit of accommodation sometimes. We're not asking for, extra breaks or extra time off or anything like that. I was asking for a tool to make my job more efficient. Or I asked for a bench or a stool to sit on because I couldn't stand in my walker the whole time during my shift. None of my accommodations have ever been outside the realm of reality. Nothing. I played by their rules every time I had to. Every time. Didn't cook anything once. I found it laughable. I find it laughable. Oh, my stutter almost kicked up there. Blah, blah, blah. Find it laughable that I had to, on more than one occasion, with past employers' insurances, to prove that I'm disabled to keep my accommodations. So I had to prove I can't bring. Actually, we'll do this. We're going to take a short field trip. Here we go. Which way does it go? I had to prove that I have cerebral palsy and wasn't faking it with this thing. Let that sink in for a second. There. End of field trip. Now I'm going to put my camera back. Up, a little high. Up, let's get it back down. Damn, this thing's cool. There we go. That's another laughable thing. And then you had able-bodied people out there that would have extra unpaid, yeah, it was unpaid, but they still got to keep their job. They had extra unpaid time off because they were mentally stressed. They couldn't handle the stress at work. Never had any accommodation like that. Ever. Never had an option to get something like that. Didn't want to either because I don't want to have any time where I get to have a job and don't get paid. Nah, it's not how this works. That's not. So with everybody that's crying uncle now, that wasn't crying uncle before because they thought things were going to be great, we warned you. Straight up. We warned you. Here we are. And you're still whining and you're in pain and things are hurting, and we warned you. I mean, we told you what was going to happen with this guy that's in charge now. We weren't blowing smoke. And there was a fire, and you just chose to ignore it because that fire hadn't gotten to you yet, but it was burning through everything else. And now there's nothing between you and the fire. Now you're in trouble. And the rest of us are getting burned through and having to pick up the pieces. And for you guys that have fire hasn't hit you yet, or the damage hasn't hit you yet, whatever analogy you want to use, able-bodied goober head, it's coming. Your legs better be working faster than mine. You're going to get burned up. And I'm going to laugh my butt off while we're picking up the pieces because you're running for your life thinking you can outrun this. Or it ain't going to get to you. And it's going to. It's probably gotten you already but you don't admit it. You're just trying to figure out a way to get through it. But you're trying to figure out a way to get through it by yourself with no help because then you got to admit your mistake. Oops. So good luck with that. Anyway, that's first time in a while that I've actually had to go hardcore soapbox mode just because the able-bodied world is dumber than a post. That's what it is. And we're fighting like hell. And by the way, I want to applaud the guy. I can't find the video, though. I should find it. Let me see if I can get it. Hang on. But the guy that fought off the two ICE agents that were not in hardcore ICE uniforms, but they were cowards and had their faces covered. That guy, holy cow. Let's see if I can get it. Okay. Okay. Guy Get away from two ice aid. This might be it. If it is, I'm gonna be shocked. No, that's a come on. Oh, that guy took off on a bike. Oh, he made those guys look fat and slow because they are. Oh, hey, that's not the one. Okay, I'm gonna find it. I'm not the one. Oh, crap. I can't find it anymore. What's this one? That's awesome. Uh, I don't think. Uh, okay. So it doesn't look like I can get to the video anymore. That's okay. I can't find the one I'm looking for, but that's all right. I'll find it at some point. But this guy literally had to fight two guys off that were trying to get him in a vehicle that was an unmarked vehicle, civilian plates. He's a big guy, and not big as in shape, but he's a big fella. And both of these wannabe agents were also big fellas, and that single big fella fought off those two big fellas, and then it was great because they've got those two guys got tired of getting their able-bodied butts kicked in by that other able-bodied guy, even though they had him outnumbered, and they still lost, and it was just legendary. Anyway, Sorry, I looked for it for as long as I could, but it's not there anymore. But to everybody that's got me up to 77 subscribers right now, I appreciate the support. Thanks for your time, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Wait, not yet. We're gonna do one other thing quick because I almost forgot. We're gonna go over here. Oh. Okay. Then we're gonna go here. And as I said, because Christmas is coming, if you're big into handmade jewelry made by a disabled artist, because my fiance wife is legally blind, this is her Etsy shop. She has inventory from earrings, bracelets, a chainmail, and she has tutorials where you can make your own stuff. Let's see. I'm gonna make sure the screen is still sharing. It didn't. Those ones right there turned out epic. The ColourPop, and then these bracelets right here were great, and all of her stuff is handmade by her. Very well put together, very well priced, and it's all done and ready to go. It's just new jewelry looking for a home. All you gotta do is buy, and if you spend over $35, you get free shipping. Anyway, I always I'm gonna try to end every stream like this, and I'm hoping to get on closer to 5 tomorrow. And there's football tomorrow. We'll have to talk about the spreads and stuff, and see where things are, and talk about upcoming Nebraska game. Minnesota's back to winning football games. They're playing pretty solid. Got a good quarterback. We'll have to see what happens. Huskers just be plugging away. But thank you for all the supporters that have gotten me up to this point of 77 subscribers. Once I get up to 100, I will give something free away again, another graded Pokemon card. But thank you for your time from Disabled Soapbox. You guys have a good night and a safe rest of your week. Okay. So now I'm going to end the stream.